Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back for another video. Today, of course, we're covering the first episode of Season 2 of Dead City. Quite the premiere, honestly. Obviously, if you have access to AMC Plus, that you have access to that episode now versus waiting for it to run on AMC tonight. But jumping into this episode, I mean, it was kind of a slow burn, kind of a slow start, as it has been 2 years since we saw these characters, and jumping into what can only be the beginning of something I think kind of interesting. Uh, it kind of played out a lot like I thought it would, with certain reveals, with certain kind of history as far as everything going on the last year with new characters. We got a lot of stuff going on with this first episode, and it was good, and I really enjoyed it. And so I guess let's jump right into it. We kind of get some reveals there in the beginning of the episode. We see just how that relationship between Herschel and Maggie is very much strained, and it's just kind of awkward with their communications back and forth, and just Herschel's feelings towards everything. And then it doesn't help when you have the Babylon people show up with Pearlie, and then the governor, which is just, I'm surprised Maggie didn't have a line or anything saying, I knew a governor once before, did not end well with him. So I'm wondering maybe if they save something like that for if they ever have an interaction between the governor and Maggie, because to say the least, the relationship and just everything in between these two communities, with the new Babylon people coming in, basically demanding that we have our rules and everything, and you have an agreement with us saying if you don't sign up with our army, you will be put to death. And they did so with the display of some random guy that ran off, didn't want to be part of their army after he was basically drafted, and then they put him to death right there in front of everybody. So really setting the tone for that particular community and these people that are running it. So they are nothing like we want to see as far as people that show compassion and different things like that. It's people that I'm really hoping bad things happen to, honestly. But with the newcomer, Deshaka Polanco playing Lucia Navarez, she is going to be, I think, an interesting character as far as the beginning of relationship that we have between her and Maggie right now versus what I think it could become. Or it could be, complete opposite, and she ends up getting herself killed just based off of the attitude and everything that I think that she has towards everyone, and her just kind of uppity kind of way of looking at other people, looking at people down her nose and whatnot. She comes in, she's one of the new marshals or whatever of New Babylon, and along with the governor, and you have Pearlie come back. He is now a colonel of the New Babylon army, or whatever you want to call it, and saying that they need people to enlist in their army. But Maggie kind of intervenes, say you're not going to enlist people against their will, and they kind of come to an agreement, considering they are going into New York and they want to basically take that over. They want to take their resources. They're going in there for the methane, considering everything that the methane can do. So they're going in there, and Maggie kind of steps in and says, I will go if you leave these people alone. Don't take anybody against their will, because I know the land. I've dealt with these people before and all of that. So you got all of that going on, along with Pearlie coming in under the guise that he killed Negan. This is what the governor believes, although I think on some level she doesn't. But you got them coming in wanting to recruit people to go into New York as an exploratory mission, but more so it's kind of a hostile takeover considering everything that's going on. And then we jump into New York, and we have Negan. He's been locked up for the last year because he refuses to cooperate with Dama and Croats, and just the mission or the vision that they have. He doesn't want to be part of it. He doesn't want to be in this position again, much like we predicted with a lot of our trailers and just sneak peeks and whatnot. We could tell just by his demeanor that he doesn't want to be here. He doesn't want to be a part of it, and that has been confirmed. He's been locked up for the last year, sleeping on a broken down cot, eating cockroaches, which is just beyond disgusting. And then you have kind of a situation where Croat comes in every so often offering him this or that to get out of there. And Negan, being the boss that he is, he's like, no, I'm good. Don't want to be a part of it. Don't want to be a part of what you're trying to accomplish. Until, of course, we get the confirmation. And I made this prediction probably in a few different videos, and I think probably other people did too, that the Dama confirms that they do in fact have his wife Annie and their son Joshua en route to New York to be used as motivation. And I think that's what's going to lead up to that scene that we have Negan being held down as he says no, where they're either presented in front of him or they're put in some kind of danger. But the other choice, or the other option or whatever is also could be Maggie and Herschel being put in front of him, being put in a difficult, dangerous situation. So we got a couple different things confirmed here, and of course Negan being gifted with a new Lucille, and you can see that he's pretty disgusted by it, honestly. And the whole shock thing that we got from the trailers and the teasers and everything, that was something that Croat added in. And it was this final straw with them confirming and revealing that they do have his family, saying that you're going to do what we say or bad things are going to happen, basically. And this is the thing that pushes him, that he has to accept their deal. He has to be this leader. He has to present in front of these gangs of New York saying this is how it's going to be. He's going back into that old persona of Negan from the All Out War days and being that savior, something that Croat is just, he's itching at it. He wants it to happen so badly. He's so obsessed with this idea of Negan needs to be that guy again. And so we see him put on this show, and he puts that leader on his ass because, like I predicted in my last video, this guy just openly opposed Negan, doesn't want to be a part of his crap, doesn't want the gangs of New York to unite under anyone's rule. He doesn't want to, get along with them because the gangs all have their personal beefs against each other. And he puts him on his ass and kind of makes everyone take notice and have his gang kind of stand up trying to retaliate for this action, and then they all put them on their ass by shooting those flamethrowers and making it known we have the power. And of course the famous line and the title of this episode, power equals power, rolls off Negan's tongue, and just stating this is how it's going to be. You're going to team up with us. You're going to go against this new Babylon because we know that they're coming to destroy our way of life and everything. And it's a very strong start, in my opinion, to the beginning of the season, and just leading into what I think could become kind of a big deal with this season, this series, and with these characters and everything, kind of also painting the picture. And I honestly think some of my other predictions are going to come true with Lucille coming back. I think her name's Hillary, Jeffrey Dean Morgan's real-life wife, coming in to play the part of Lucille again. And I think it's going to come in a moment of crisis for Negan, where she's going to appear to him in hallucination form, saying that you can't be this guy again. And I think that's maybe the turning point where he then teams up with Maggie as she comes back into the picture, because they are supposedly supposed to spend a lot of the season apart. So he's going to fall back into that. He's going to fall back into bad habits, and it's going to just come to a head where he's going to have probably a moment of crisis, like I mentioned. Lucille's going to show up, and she's going to be like, you can't do this again. You did it once before and it didn't work out. You're not this guy again. You're better than this. And I think that at that point, that's where Maggie's going to come in, and they're going to be like, we have to take these people down. We have to do away with Croat. We have to do away with Dama. And I think at some points in this conflict, and that might be in the last couple of episodes, and that's why they're being kept from reviewers and everything, they're keeping what leads up to a moment I believe is going to happen that we saw in the trailers, where Maggie's going to take up Lucille, and she's probably going to take someone out with it. And it's going to be a huge kind of full circle, weird, crazy moment that we're going to get with Maggie wielding the very weapon, not the exact same one, obviously, but wielding the very weapon that killed her husband, 15 years ago or something. And it's going to be, I think, a very exciting season. I think we got a lot going on, and it did release a coming this season trailer that I will break down and talk about in another video. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed the first episode of Dead City Season 2, please be sure to leave a like. Tell me your favorite moment in the comments. And of course, leave a like for this video too, and I will see you later. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content just like this, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.